Well, hey there folks, Tip here, Stupid Gardener. Welcome back. Thanks for stopping by. Well, I'm working out in the garden today and I am pruning our zucchini and our squash plants. And I don't know if that's something that you do in your garden, but it's something that that I do here. And one of the main reasons is just to, one, to promote new growth, two, to get the pollinators down to those flowers. And it just seems that the more you cut away, the more these leaves are going to grow back, and you're leaving space open for your pollinators to get down. So that's what we're going to go over today. And one thing I find fascinating about these squash leaves, as well as these zucchini leaves, is just the cone shape that they grow up in. And it's pretty wild because when the rain comes, the rain kind of lands in here, and it flows right down here and drips right off and goes right down to that root system. And I think that's a wonderful thing that nature does. It's just taking care of itself. You know, these leaves could grow anyway. They could grow flat out and everything, but it seems that the zucchini and the squash plants, they grow like a cone shape, just so the water collects when it rains and falls right down. I think that's pretty neat. So, well, let's go over how we prune off, and the reasons we do prune off our zucchini and squash plants. Why don't you follow along? Okay, so this summer squash plant is way overgrown. I did prune this one here this past week, and this is pretty much the way you want it. But I've got all these lower leaves here that are crisscrossing this other plant, so you want to get those out of there. And I really just prune them about 3 or 4 inches away from the root system, and I usually just start at the bottom and just cut them away. And really any leaves that are hitting the ground, you really want to get rid of those, because they're just going to rot and it could bring some sort of disease to your plant, and that's not what you want. And also, by getting this away, it's going to allow these our pollinators to get in there. Now they are attracted because that flower is yellow, it's bright, and the bees just hone in on it. So all we're doing is just helping the pollinators get in there. And if they're not pollinating those, you can run into, see, I have one here. Here it is right here. You run into this right here. Now what this is, I mean, some people will say, well, you're not giving it enough water, or you're giving it too much water. But what this is just a squash that has not been pollinated because it's rotting on the end. So that blossom that was on the end fell off because the bees weren't able to get in there and pollinate it, and that's what will happen. And this will just promote the growth of your squash or zucchini plant also, because there'll be new leaves that are going to come up. And so if you're out here every day picking at your squash and zucchini and picking them off, just take a look and make sure that the bees and all the other pollinators have a root in there to get in there and pollinate your plants. And like I said, you just cut them like 3 or 4 inches up and get them off the ground. And within a week or so, you will have new growth coming up, because right over here I have a new leaf, 2 or 3 new leaves that are coming up. So this will extend your growing season, because a lot of times, the last couple of years, sometimes I wasn't really doing this. I wasn't very consistent, and you know, we get a good crop once, and then everything would just die off. But the main reason was I was not cutting away this growth, and so nothing else could grow up, because once your squash and zucchini starts growing, that root system is going to put everything it can into growing those to the length that they need to be before you cut them. So you want to make sure that you're cutting them off at the right, your fruit, cutting it off at the right length, so it promotes new growth, and your trimming everything down so you're promoting new growth on the leaves, and you should get a longer growing season than you would if you just let it grow on by itself. Okay, so this is what we're left with, and as you can see, we got it all pruned away there so it's not overlapping, and we'll have some nice airflow that can get underneath there, and that should really help the new growth. And that's about how much I cut away, and that'll be perfect to go into the old compost and break down. Okay, I'm going to come out probably later on this evening and finish pruning all this up. It's about noontime here, so it's kind of hot. So I'm going to wait till it's a little bit cooler, because I got to come out and pick some of this squash and zucchini also, but I'm going to wait till this evening to do that. One other thing that this will promote in our garden is airflow, and getting that air to flow, you know, underneath there, just so it keeps it kind of cool and everything too, because, you know, in the area that we're in, North Carolina Zone 7B, is going to get real hot and humid, so this will really help also. And overall, this should help our growth and keep this going, hopefully well into you know, August, so we can keep pulling zucchini and squash from here. So I want to thank everyone for watching. Don't forget that we are on Facebook and Instagram under The Stupid Gardener. And if you're not a subscriber, stop what you're doing, go down below and hit that subscribe button, and just follow along with us throughout the summer. Just see how our garden grows and how much zucchini and squash that we end up getting off here. So I want to thank everyone for watching. And so this is Tip from The Stupid Gardener. Everyone take care. God bless everybody. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and follow along.